¿Qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Muy buenos días. Los saludo con mucho gusto su amigo Paco Baluarte. Esta mañana aquí en la granja de mi gran amigo Gene Batia, a quien le agradezco. Thank you, Gene, for this time. Le agradezco mucho este tiempo que nos otorga para esta pequeña charla de amigos. Es para mí muy importante mencionar que me encuentro muy emocionado. Pocas veces Gene ha dado entrevistas de esta forma, pero pues la amistad y varios factores ayudan a este acercamiento. Así es que vamos a empezar. Gene, eh, ¿cómo empiezas en el mundo de los gallos?
I started when I was about 13 years old and had the miniature roosters, banty roosters. And when I got about 15, I had, grown American roosters,
¿Con quién empezaste en esto de los gallos?
My uncle, I had an uncle and my great grandfather had roosters.
Eran personas que tenían aves, ellos ya tenían gallos. Muchos años de tradición. Y ¿quién fue tu mentor en este mundo del gallo? ¿Quién fue tu maestro? Who was your teacher in this work to be
Probably Dr. Robinson.
Dr. Robinson?
Yeah.
¿Cómo llegas con él? ¿Cómo llegas a trabajar con él? ¿O cómo empiezas tu relación con Dr. Robinson?
Well, he lived in Meridian, Mississippi, which is about 2.5 hours from here. But when he came down here to show roosters, he needed someone to help him, and he was asked some people who the best person to get, and they recommended me, and then it just kind of took off from there, and I was affiliated with him probably 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
¿Crees que tu relación con Dr. Robinson cambió tu futuro en la vida del gallo?
I would say all the success that I had goes, he's responsible for it, because he set me up and introduced me to people that I would have never met, because he was a highly regarded professional, and he traveled on the circuit, and he took me with him, and I met people that I had just read about or seen pictures of. I met all those people and competed against them too.
Ok, entiendo. También sé que ustedes tuvieron una relación de sociedad manejando Sunset, administrando el Sunset. De esa época, ¿alguna anécdota que tú recuerdes de un gran gallero, de un gran criador, de los eventos que hacían en Sunset, una anécdota que te haga recordar buenos momentos?
Well, there was I was not partners with him in the Sunset Recreation Club. I was partners with a friend his name was Murray Conk. And when I first started going to Sunset, Dr. Robinson gave me shares in the club, stock. And then later, he had passed away. And, they elected a new board, and the new board hired me to be the manager. I managed the pit for, I think, about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
¿Quién consideras, recuerdas quiénes eran de los competidores más destacados en esos eventos?
That time, the competition was so tough that not too many, hardly anybody dominated. They all had 2 or 3 years when they were really, really good, and then somebody else came along. One of the ones that were, well, of course, Blackwater, Carol Neesmith was very, very good and competitive. Scott Baird, who trained a lot of roosters for different people, did really good. You know, when I managed it. Later on, the Sammy entry, I would say they probably dominated, but nobody, nobody really dominated. Excuse me.
Yes.
Nobody really dominated when I ran the pit. You know, it varied. You know, if you won over twice down there,
Okay.
it was very good. You know, because it was just, competition was so tough, so keen.
¿Tienes alguna anécdota, Gene, que tú recuerdes con mucho agrado del Sunset?
We tried to not have any problems, and when you don't have controversy or problems, you know, if things are kind of smooth and you don't hear about it. Well, we never had any major problems down there.
Okay. Entiendo que cuando muere tu amigo Dr. Robinson, además de dar estas acciones en Sunset, no sé si tú también heredaste algunas líneas de sus gallos y cuáles fueron, si es que es así.
The hatch chickens I have, yeah, they all came from him. You know, and the sweater chickens came from Carol Neesmith.
Carol Neesmith, the
Yeah.
sweaters.
The yellow-legged hatch. You know, there were different avenues that people got them, but they are all Ray Hoskins.
Ray Hoskins.
Yeah,
Okay.
they go back to him. The gray chickens are the same as, very close to the same as Mule Train, Lonnie Harper, who's a good friend. And they were very competitive down there during that time. I told you, Scott Baird trained. I think he trained a few for them, but they were competitive on their own, real competitive. One of the entries that won more than, you know, once or twice a year. But like I said, you know, we only fought we ended up fighting about 8 times a year, and if anybody won 2 of them, you know. Yeah, that was a major accomplishment.
I understand. ¿Cuál es el origen de tus Albanese y de los Roundhead Cowan?
The Cowans came from Junior Belt.
Junior Belt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Albanese?
I got Albanese from a couple of different people, but they go back to Johnny Moore.
Johnny Moore.
Yeah.
Líneas de...
Johnny Moore, you know, it was a racehorse guy that was a good friend of mine and got me, you know, in the horses. We're looking at that sale right now. Okay. And his name was Jimmy Krupe, and he was a real accomplished racehorse man. Okay. Not chickens. Didn't know much about chickens, but I helped him with the chickens, and he gave me a bunch of horses.
Okay.
So he kind of got me started doing that. And some of the Albanese came from him, you know, some of his blood, but it all went back to John Moore.
John Moore. Okay. Yeah. Ok, yeah. Ok. Dinos algo, ahora después de tantos años de experiencia, a mí me gusta mucho la crianza y busco a lo largo de Estados Unidos, Filipinas, criadores que me aconsejen de la crianza. ¿Tú cómo seleccionas un pie de cría, el pollo, las pollas, antes de meterlos a un lote para reproducción?
You know, the obvious things that everybody looks for, you know, is the station of them and the body structure, what kind of body they have, and balance, how they move around, mental attitude. Is probably on the top of the list, because when I trained roosters for Dr. Robinson, and then he had roosters. Roosters had 3 days to calm down or gentle, and if they bit you after 3 days, they were out.
Okay.
And I think you know that you've handled enough of my chickens. They don't bite, and you know they're not trying to eat you up and hurt you. They realize that you're not trying to hurt them, and I think the mental makeup in a chicken is very important.
Yes.
And I don't think that if they're aggressive to you, I will not tolerate that. I don't fool with them. I don't care how good they are or what anybody thinks of them. They're not going to be man fighters.
Okay. In your experience, what do you think about what is more important, the rooster or the pullets? ¿Qué es más importante, las pollas o el pollo? Esa es una pregunta que todos hacemos siempre.
I've been fortunate to have a rooster or two. I've kept them going until they got older, that really produced. But I really think the females are most important. Not all roosters produce. I mean, I have bred brothers, you know, and when we showed them, everyone wanted this particular one that was, you know, 1, 4, 5 blue ribbons. And then I had one that was ugly and barely won 1 blue ribbon. And his offspring were much better than the one that everybody tried to buy, and it was perfect looking. So, you know, they're all different, and some of them produce and some of them don't, and they can be brothers and they don't produce. But and hens are the same way, but the hens seem that the roosters will, that their offspring will carry on better. You don't raise as many because she doesn't lay as many eggs, but you will, more of her sons will be producers than the cock. I mean, you may raise 50 or 100 out of the cock, and you'd be lucky if you got 3 or 4 that produce like he did, you know. But if you find that one rooster, you know, and you just got to hold on to him, you know, and try to preserve that, and always be looking for another one. Generally his son, you know, and like I said, I've had a couple of roosters that have been producers and produced sons that were excellent, you know, and a large percentage of them, not just 1 or 2, you know, but 7 or 8 of the same brothers, and they all produce.
Cuando tú tienes una línea ganadora, que descubres que esa línea es ganadora, ¿qué haces para conservar esa línea, para no perder esa línea?
Well, you know, I don't like inbreeding, so I tried to establish two sides, and they're all one family, but two different pens. And then I'll go back and forth with them, and I like to breed nephews to aunts, and the roosters I like to breed to their nieces, but I don't like to. I never breed a brother and a sister.
Okay, I understand.
Some people do, and they're successful at it. It's just something that I never have done.
Yo alguna vez platicando con Mr. Jumper me decía, tú puedes hacer todas las cosas que quieras, pero nunca hagas con hermanos con hermanas. En algunos casos sí se debe hacer desde tu punto de vista o también se debe evitar.
Johnny was a very good rooster man, so.
Yes, and was a great person too.
Yeah.
Yes. ¿Qué te gustan más? ¿Straight comb o peak comb? ¿Cabeza cuadrada o cabeza redonda? What do you prefer?
I prefer peak comb.
Peak comb.
But I like for them to have straight comb blood in them, the sweaters, when I first got them, I never got a straight comb. But over the years, I've ended up getting some straight comb ones. And it seems like as long as that blood is in there, it doesn't have to pop out or anything, but they seem better. The results are much better if they got the straight comb family in them. But the peak, most everybody likes peak comb chickens better than they do, and I think that's the Oriental influence in them. That's why they peak combed.
Exactly.
Because all of the chickens that we started with, they brought over here from England and Ireland and wherever, they were all straight combed.
Exactly. Yes, I understand. Hace muchos años en el mundo del gallo no se veían los asiles. De pronto se empezaron a ver. ¿Tú recuerdas cuándo los empezaste a ver y qué opinas del juego de los asiles actualmente en este deporte?
Yeah, we 50 years ago, my cousin bought some, and they tried them, and I don't think people had the patience to fool, to spend the time to fool with them, and nobody cared for them. I really don't care for them, but I raise them because I have customers that do want them, and they're pretty successful. But and you may know this better than I do, but I think their popularity peaked about 2 years ago. And I think that they are declining a little bit. And what's happened is everybody wanted them, and there's only so many good ones. But a lot of people bred a lot of them that wasn't any good, and people bought them. And I think there's just, when they were really good, just a few people had the really good ones. Jerry Wallace, his was phenomenal. But, I heard of people, I hear of people who have Aseels that I've never heard of, and they're selling all they can of them.
Exactly.
But, I really think they're peaked, and I think it'll come back down. I don't think they'll be as popular as they were.
Okay.
When I first started, you know, sending roosters that went to Mexico and stuff. Everybody wanted green-legged roosters.
Ajá.
And now, you know, then it got where nobody wanted green-legged roosters, just a very few. They all want yellow-legged,
Yellow-legged.
sweater-looking roosters.
Exactly.
And but yeah, you know, they've been pretty solid and pretty popular for what 10, 15 years at least. You know, maybe 20. You know, I get away with time, but the green-legged chickens, you know, a lot of those, mainly mine, they have hatch blood in them. We just breed them to the color that the customers want. And but I do think that the Aseel is, you know, there's just a lot of bad ones out there.
Justamente hablando de eso, ¿tú prefieres los animales de patas verdes, amarillas o blancas?
I prefer yellow-legged chickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like sweaters.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. ¿De dónde vienen tus asiles? ¿Cuál es el origen de ellos? Porque tienes unos pocos, pero ¿de dónde los obtuviste?
I got some that came from Jerry Wallace.
Very well.
I got some that supposedly came from Bobby Bowles.
Bobby Balls. Yes.
And then I got some, I don't know where they got them from, but they may be the best ones. Yeah, but I think that they came from Bowles, you know. But, you know, things are funny with chickens. Bobby Bowles was supposedly very close with his chickens and didn't let a lot of them go out. So Bobby Bowles dies, and all of a sudden everybody has Bobby Bowles chickens. So which, you know, do they really have them from Bobby Bowles? So they're just telling people that to promote theirs. You know, like I said, I don't know if mine came from Bowles or not, but they said they did.
¿A ti te tocó ver jugar a Bobby Bowles en algún momento? ¿Lo conociste?
I was, you know, he was out on the West Coast, and I never went there. I've been out there before, but he had passed away at that time. But now, Dr. Robinson told me he saw him compete, and he said it was something.
Okay.
It was something. Said the roosters were extremely good.
¿Qué opinas tú de ponerle un poquito de porcentaje de Aseel a las sangres americanas como los sweaters y después irlo sacando, volviendo a limpiar la sangre, pero que tengan un porcentaje pequeño de Aseel?
You know, personally what I think is, I told you I like the pea-headed, pea-comb chickens. They all have a little bit of Oriental. I'm going to call them Orientals and not Aseels. They could be Jap, could be whatever. But they have an Oriental influence. I don't think, from what I've seen and what I've gathered, what makes an Aseel good is they have a very unorthodox way of, you know, competing. So half and halves do well. But if you breed back to the American side, you're going to get them like American chickens. They're going to lose the advantage of the style that they have. You know, and that's what makes sense to me is when you breed away from it, you're going to change them. So I think the best ones are going to be half and half. Half Aseel and whatever you know, breed to them. Sweaters or, you know, I know a lot of people use Hatch. Hatch has been real popular. And
blacks.
Yeah,
sometimes too.
But, you know, Bowles had black in his. But, and I get a black one every now and then, but also I've gotten a white one. I don't know, you know, and I've heard of people getting spangled ones and white ones or whatever. But I just think you're better off to raise them half breeds, you know.
Cuando vas a cruzar un asil, como criador, ¿tú qué recomendarías? ¿Que el pollo sea el asil o las pollas sean las asiles? Es decir, si vas a usar, por ejemplo, una cruza suéter con asil, ¿usarías el pollo suéter o el pollo asil?
I use the roosters.
The roosters.
The rooster asil,
Yeah,
and for example, the pullet sweaters.
sweaters.
Okay, I understand. Eh, cuando tú todos tus animales crecen libres, ¿cuántos meses más o menos buscas que se queden en libertad antes de atraparlos? ¿Cuántos meses les das de libertad para que se desarrollen?
Till they're about 7 months old. Seven, yeah. I try to leave them free ranging as long as I can. You know, and give them a lot of room.
It's better.
Give them a lot of room.
Okay. Hay una pregunta. ¿Tú mundialmente son famosos tus sweater Golden Monkey? Nosotros estuvimos hace 2 años en Filipinas. Te mencionan mucho como uno de los mejores creadores, a ti y a Dink Fair también. Pero una de las aves que tanto en México como en Filipinas escuchamos que son muy reconocidas son tus sweaters Golden Monkey. Y mucha gente pregunta por qué se llaman Golden Monkey. ¿Podrías tú platicar la historia?
Yeah, it just got to be, I didn't give him that name. Some Filipinos started calling him that, and it kind of took off, and I mean, Cal Neesmith and Dink have got 5,000s, and they call them, and they got some they call brownies. Larry Romero's got raptors, and they all have a name, but I mean, it just happened, that they were trying to buy that rooster. And I told you that every now and then you get a rooster that has just really a producer, and that rooster was, and actually he was. We knew he was a good rooster and everything, but when they tried to buy him, he was actually better than we knew. As years went by, we realized how strong influence he was, but that was the deal. They wanted to buy him. He was a super looking rooster, an individual, and they offered me money for him, and I kept saying no, and they kept going up. I finally just said, I wouldn't take a gold monkey for that rooster, and then they started calling him the gold monkey.
Okay.
And I had a Filipino boy that, a young man that helped me, and I think he promoted that a little bit too, But that's how they got. And I still call him that. And I've still got. There's a rooster out there that's like 15 years old, and he's out of the original Golden Monkey rooster.
Okay.
And he still produces. So, but all of those sweaters that are out there may go back to that rooster.
Mucha gente me pregunta por qué hay Golden Monkeys de diferentes colores, y yo les explico, bueno, yo sé la razón, pero me gustaría que tú les explicaras por qué los hay más amarillos, más rojos, más retintos, para que la gente sepa que aunque sean diferentes colores, sí son Golden Monkey.
I try to, you've looked at all the roosters, but the sweaters, the Kelsos, and the yellow-legged hatch, they all look alike. They all look alike. And, that's, I guess, by my influence. That's the way I want them to look, so I bred to that color. But as far as the dark ones, you know, the original sweaters that I got, you know, 1 out of 10 of the females would be green-legged. So that tells anyone they had hatch blood in them.
Exactly.
So that's why I get the different colors. And you know, I never got a straight comb in the first 7 or 8 years I had them, but I guess I bred them closer, and you know, and I raised a few of them that were dark, and a lot of the first ones did not have white in that tail. They had black tails. And you know, Carol came down here, and after he gave me that rooster, and gave me 4 hens, and I think he took. I gave him. He asked if I'd give him one. And I said sure, and he ended up taking 3.
Okay.
And 2 of them had black tails. So it didn't bother him that they had black tails. But, you know, when people call me to buy chickens, I want 2 white streamers in his tail. They don't care anything else about, you know, so people breed them to look that way.
Exactly.
You know, but I mean, I would just as soon breed one with a black tail. But hardly any of mine get black tails anymore. But and the other thing, I've lost the green-legged ones. I don't get green-legged pullets anymore. One or 2, you know, it's very rare that I get them anymore. Exactly. And when I first got them, I did get a lot of green-legged pullets.
Muchas personas refieren que a George Neal le salían, por ejemplo, kelsos patas azules, pero solo las hembras. Eso pasa un poco con el suéter en patas verdes, ¿no?
Well, you know, I think that I'm sure that's true. I went to George Neal's before. I visited him. A man in Kentucky used to raise roosters for me. And when I'd go to get my roosters, I would go to George Neal's. And Carol Neesmith gave George a lot of chickens, you know, towards when Cal was really winning and towards the end of George's life. You know, he didn't live much longer than that. But the chickens that they call 20 grands, they got a hatch in them. They got, you know, that rooster, I think that rooster that they called the 20 grand was half hatch. And the hatch blood came from Robbie White. Robbie White got the hatch blood from me. They were Doc Robinson hatches. But all the roosters were yellow-legged.
Okay.
You know, but he did send me one of those Kelsos. Of course, Robbie got a lot of chickens from Johnny Jumper. And Robbie sent me he told me, he said, I'm sending you a pure Kelso rooster. And he did. And then he said, look, I sent you that rooster. He said, but I want to tell you, he's blue-legged. I said, blue-legged, you know, because I mean, I had never heard that they were like that. And the rooster was phenomenal, but he was blue-legged. So he, you know, they had hatch blood in them.
Do you remember if the original sweater from Carol Nesmith was in Pecom or straight com?
No, they were Pecom.
Pecom.
Yeah.
Okay. Ahora, tener tanto éxito en el mundo del gallo siempre tiene un sacrificio. ¿Y cuál ha sido el precio que has tenido que pagar para ser uno de los mejores creadores?
Oh, you know, the price I paid, it wasn't. I don't think it was really worth it. I lost a lot of family time with my children, and you know, I missed a lot of things. But you know, to get where I am and where anyone who is very successful with the Roosters, or they followed the same pattern. They missed family time. You know, they missed special occasions. You know, because and you know, we were all just kind of the people my age. Of course, I was a little bit on the young side of the people that we really competed a lot with. They're older than I am now, and but I mean, you know, we used to be the young guys, and now we the old guy. You know, Dink Fair, Larry Romero, myself. You know, I'm sure I'm Carol Neesmith. I mean, hell, we all old now, but you know, when we were younger, we were all obsessed with chickens.
¿Ha valido la
And that's
pena?
how we were all successful.
¿Ha valido la pena?
Yeah, I guess it was. Because now I spend all the time with my kids, and I can do things for them that I wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't, you know, pursued this. And we've been successful, so I guess it was. I'm kind of making up now for what I missed out on with my grandkids, and I'm still very close to I got a son and a daughter. I'm very close to them.
Si hoy con esta experiencia que tiene hoy día Gene Batia, pudiera regresar el tiempo y tuviera que empezar con una línea, ¿con cuál empezaría y qué harías diferente?
The Doc Robinson chickens got me started, but the chickens I got from Carol Neesmith.
Carol Neesmith,
yeah, probably. You know, if you took everything away from me, they would be the last ones I would let go. I really, you know, I really don't think I would change anything really. You know, I wasn't wise enough to keep the Doc chickens as good as they were. You know, years ago when they were in competition, they lost their cutting ability.
Okay.
That's what I would have been more careful with. But you know, that's just what happened. You know, and of course, you know, it taught me a valuable lesson that won't happen again to me.
Normalmente le pregunto mucho esto a la gente, pero es difícil a veces responder por el aprecio que puede uno tener por muchos amigos y anécdotas, pero si tuvieras que escoger no uno, a los 3 mejores criadores de aves que has conocido, ¿cuáles serían?
That is difficult, you know.
Yes, I know.
You know, your longevity is very important, you know, and you know, you have to look back and see. A lot of people can do it for 8 or 10 years, but I mean, you look at, you know, Duke Colsey, Curtis Blackwell, I mean, Billy Rubel, Johnny Jumper. I mean, Dr. Robinson was a very good breeder.
Yes,
I mean, I you know, when you get down to 3, I think you just had, you know, and all of those people, they wasn't successful for 5 or 10 years. They were successful for 40 or 50 years.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's the proof of greatness. I mean, they were great.
Yeah.
They were, and I'm sure I forgot somebody, but I mean those guys, you know, carried on and were consistent the whole time. Some years it might have went down a little bit, but hey, they came right back. Yeah. You know, because they were good, they realized. You know, William McRae, that's another good breeder. You know, and a lot of them probably out west and stuff. I know most of the ones here in the southeast, but I do believe, and I maybe I ought not say this, but I do believe that the southeast has the best chickens. You know,
it's different.
It's different.
Yes.
Probably the climate and everything else has something to do with it.
Sabemos que tú también eres un gran fanático de carreras de caballos. Hoy mismo va a correr uno de tus caballos en el hipódromo. ¿Hay algunas similitudes? Bueno, también ya me has dicho que tú prefieres los gallos sobre los caballos, pero ¿hay algunas similitudes que hayas encontrado en la crianza de caballos con la crianza de aves?
The females are most important, and race horses too.
It's the same.
Just and race horses too.
Okay.
And a lot of people that have chickens have race horses. You know, a lot of them do.
En caballos es conveniente o tampoco cruzar entre hermanos.
No.
It's the same.
The big thing with horses is everything is documented. You know, chickens, all you have is what I say. It's not written down, it's not registered. I mean, they do DNA and everything on horses. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, I've sent, they sent papers on a horse I had in, and they called me up and said, hey, there's a problem here. And I said, what do you mean there's a problem? I said, well, we got the DNA on this horse, and y'all got it listed as a filly. And it's not a filly, it's a colt. I mean, and they could tell through the DNA. And I mean, chickens are not like that. I mean, all we got about chickens is trusting the person that's given to you what they are, you know.
Como sabemos, hay palabras que no podemos mencionar por obvias razones, pero ¿cuál sería para ti, Gene, la parte más importante de estas aves? ¿La resistencia o la rapidez?
They have to be smart.
Inteligencia.
They have to be smart.
Okay. Hoy día en México uno de los partidos más importantes es Carboneras. ¿Qué crees que ha hecho bien para destacar de esa forma?
They bought roosters from us.
Yes, of course.
He has a good team. He's got, listen, you know, it doesn't matter who gets our roosters. They have to have a good trainer. Yeah. Carbonaris has got good trainers. You know, and all the successful entries have got good trainers. You know, you can improve them a lot, but you can really hurt them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Núñez ha hecho un gran equipo, ha sido inteligente porque le compra aves a los mejores criadores de Estados Unidos y tiene un equipo muy completo, como dices tú, de grandes preparadores y todo o sea, en todas las áreas hay calidad, empezando desde el criador con el que adquiere sus aves, ¿no? Tú uno de ellos, Larry Romero otro, ¿no?
Yeah, yes, good trainer, good team. Brian Corcoran is working for him too.
Oh, yes.
And he's a good trainer.
Sí. Ahora, para terminar, ¿cuál sería para ti, si tuvieras en este momento que tener un recuerdo, el más memorable, el más bonito que has vivido en el mundo de los gallos, cuál sería?
In 1979, I went to Sunset by myself, and then later picked up a man on the way to help me, and had 2 entries in the 8-cock. And Doc had something that he had to go do, and he did. And I won 8 in a row the first day. And then he came in, and somebody told him we won 8 in a row, and he didn't believe it. That day we won 8 more, so I won 16 in a row that day. And then on Sunday I won 3 before I lost.
Okay.
I won 19 and lost 1 in 3 days.
Wow.
So that was pretty good.
Yes, yes.
Pretty good.
Y bueno, te decía que había sido la última pregunta, pero tengo una más. ¿Cuáles serían 3 cruzas que recomendarías para México? Para México.
Hatch and sweater.
Hutchinson.
When and we didn't even mention him, but do you know Don Santos?
Yes.
Islas?
Uh-huh.
He's the first guy that I really went over there, and competed for, and done really well. He's still a good friend.
Okay.
Good friend.
Okay.
Penny hatch rooster, sweater hens.
Okay. Sweater hens?
Yeah, they can beat Aseels too.
Penny.
Not that much.
Muy bien. Pues quiero agradecerte sinceramente por tu tiempo. Sé que no acostumbras a hacer esto. Te agradezco mucho la deferencia que tienes conmigo, el tiempo que nos has regalado. Lo valoro mucho y te agradezco. Sé que en México y en Filipinas y en el mundo donde vean esta entrevista estarán muy contentos de escucharte. Creo que nos has aportado mucho, pero te agradezco mucho tu amistad y todo lo que haces siempre por mí.
You easy, because I just kind of let you go, and you make yourself at home and you select what you want, and it's easy.
Gracias.
So I appreciate you coming. I enjoy y'all's company. So everything's good.
Thank you so much, and I want to see you in Mexico soon. And like my home is your home, wherever you want to go.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Gracias amigos, espero que les haya gustado. Hicimos un gran esfuerzo para ustedes. Gracias, esto es para ustedes. Saludos.